Bill Flanagan.
Thank you, Bridget. As she said, I'm Bill Flanagan. I'm the Dean of Law at Queen's University. And I think I was asked to speak this evening because I wrote an op-ed piece that appeared in the Whig about 2 weeks ago. And I was very interested to learn more about the prison farm and the Save the Prison Farm Coalition. And so I was able to attend one of the town meetings, I think last December, and I was very impressed with the coalition of people that had come together that were very interested in saving our prison farms. And Mark Holland, a member of Parliament, was there, and he spoke very eloquently about this issue. And we had another meeting about a month ago, and we also went out to City Hall to address this issue. And so I was very curious to learn more about these prison farms, so I wanted to go for a visit to one of these, to the Frontenac Institute. And of course, at the law school, we educate a lot of students who will pursue careers in criminal justice. And I was interested to learn more about these farms and the role they played, both in terms of rehabilitation of inmates and the role that they play in our community. So I inquired of the Corrections Canada if I could get a tour, and I was told actually that they would not allow me to see the farm because there was too much public controversy about closing these farms, and they didn't want any more publicity about this, and they certainly didn't want somebody touring the farms who wanted to write an op-ed piece in the Whig. So what I did is, I'm not one to take no for an answer very easily, so I called up Peter Milliken, our Member of Parliament, and I know that members of Parliament have a statutory right to tour any correctional facilities in Canada. So I figured maybe a call from Peter's office might make Corrections Canada a little bit more amenable to my request. And it was successful. I got a call the next day saying, we'd love to have you come and tour our prison farm. So I was able to visit the farm about a month ago, and I was deeply impressed, both with the staff, the correctional staff that were there, the role that they talked about, the farms and the role that the farms play in the rehabilitation of inmates. And I was actually able to talk to a number of the inmates. I was able to talk to one inmate who had been in prison for 30 years, and he was repairing one of the tractors there, and he said he was just thrilled to have this opportunity. He wanted to keep busy. He still had a lot more time to serve in prison, and he wanted his time to be useful and to be active. And he said he was very impressed. A number of the young men who come into the prison farm, he said a lot of these young men, they've never had a job, they've never had any responsibility, they've never had to care for anyone. He said this is the first time in their life that they're getting up at 5:30 in the morning, they're collecting eggs, they're milking the cows, they're working in teams, they have responsibility. For some of them, it's the first time in their life they've ever had to care for a living being. He said it's very important. You can really see it has an impact. It changes some of these inmates. And so I know that the government says these are not practical skills, that a lot of these inmates, when they're released, they're not working in farms. But I can tell you there were very practical skills that I saw the day that I toured the farm. There were not only the mechanics working on the tractors, there was one inmate who was working on a computer tracking all of these sales and processing all of the paperwork for the operation. It was a very sophisticated operation. I learned that it generates revenue of $1.8 million a year. So the government's The government tells us it's losing money, but I just can't even imagine how that's possible. It's producing eggs and milk that provides 13 federal institutions throughout Ontario and Quebec. That's got to generate millions of dollars of revenue for the government. So my impression was this farm was definitely a winner. We have to do all that we can to maintain this farm in our community, and I'm just so impressed tonight to see such a tremendous group of people out here in support of our prison farms. And so, of course, this raises the question of, well, if they close this farm, and as you know, they're slated to sell the dairy farm, to sell the dairy herd in June of this year. So this is upon us. We don't have a lot of time to save the Frontenac institution. And then, of course, that raises the question of what will happen to that land that's now in the heart of our community. And, of course, as you all know, we have a government with a law and order agenda. And studies indicate that the prison population, if all of this law and order agenda goes through, will increase by at least 11%. They're going to have to build more prisons. They're going to have to house more prisoners. Does this mean that Frontenac Institute Farm is going to be closed and we're going to find a super prison in the heart of Kingston that is only particularly adept at bringing in minor offenders and turning out major offenders? Well, I think we can do better for our community, and I think we can do better for our inmates. And so I just want to thank you for coming here tonight. I'm going to do all that I can to try to save our prison farms, and I know that you're going to support us. So thank you.